Good morning to all respected dignitaries, honored resource person, distinguished guests, faculty members, researchers, scholars, and other participants joining us through this virtual platform. As we reach the conclusions of today's session of the 1 week International Faculty Development Program, it is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks. First and foremost, I express our sincere and heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed resource person, Dr. Mohammad Iran Manish, Professor and Head School of Hospitality, Tourism and Event, Faculties of Social Science and Leisure Management, Tyler University, Malaysia, for delivering an exceptional insight session on successful postdoctoral journey and identifying the opportunities and developing the network, proposal and CVs. Sir, your valuable insight, practical guidance, and inspiring academic experience have greatly benefited today's session. So this the theme of today's session is highly significant in the contemporary academic and research landscape. For young researchers, faculty members, and aspiring scholars, the postdoctoral phases serves as a crucial bridge towards establishing a successful academic and professional career. Beyond the research expertise, success in postdoctoral studies require the ability to identify the suitable opportunity, building the strong academic and professional networks, preparing the impact research proposal, and developing an effective academic CV. These skills play a vital role in securing international collaboration, research grants, publications, and long term career growth in academia and industries. We are truly honored to have with us an eminent academician and internationally recognized researcher who has made a remarkable contributions in the field of hospitality, tourism, consumer behavior, innovation, and sustainable management studies. He is widely respected for his exceptional research output and scholarly impact. He has authored numerous publications in reputed international journal with a citation of 24,849, high index, high 10 index 187, H index 90, has received a significant global citation for his research contribution. His academic achievement and leadership have earned him recognized among the prominent researchers in business and management studies in Malaysia. As professor and head at Taylor's University, Dr. Iran Manish has played an important role in promoting academic excellence, interdisciplinary research, and international collaboration. His dedications towards mentoring young researchers and guiding the scholars reflect his commitment to the advancement of higher education and global research culture. Dear participant, today's sessions offer a wonderful opportunity for all of us to learn from his valuable experience, practical insight into building a successful postdoctoral career. I am certain that his thoughts and guidance will inspire many aspiring researchers participating in this 1 week international faculty development program. On behalf of organizing committee and all participants attending virtually from the different phases, I sincerely express a heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. Mohammad Iran Manish, for kindly accepting our invitations and taking time to interact with us today. Sir, we are deeply honored by your virtual presence and eagerly looking forward to your enlightening address. A very warm welcome to you once again. Thank you. Sir, now the session is yours, sir.
Thank you for inviting me for these sessions. For today, talk, I'm going to discuss on the uh, postdoctoral positions, the opportunities, and how you can find the opportunities, and what you need to consider to be successful in terms of developing your networks uh, and writing the proposals, and also preparing your CV for applying for the postdoctoral positions. So next, having I just I give you some background of myself. So I have been working across Australia and Malaysia in various universities. At the moment, I'm in the University of Taylor's University. Before that, I worked as an associate professor in Lathrop University and Edith Cowan University, and also I have experience of working in University of Sains Malaysia and Multimedia University. So recently, I have been recognized as the top 5 business scientists in Malaysia, and I'm grateful that we identify as the one most cited researchers worldwide by Web of Science. As you can see, I have the experience in Australia and Malaysia, so most of my thoughts about the postdoctoral positions are around my experience in these 2 countries, but I can tell that the things is mostly same across the countries. Next. And now I'm going to share about the outlines of this webinar, and then would you please move to the next? So the agenda is I'm going to discuss about the type of postdoctoral positions. The reasons that I'm going to discuss that is because the positions that we find for the postdoctoral, the purpose are different, and also initiated by sometimes by university and sometimes by professors in the university. So, and the way that we apply for these positions are quite different, and we need to have a clear understandings about the type of postdoctoral positions, and identify these positions is advertised by university, schools, or by scholars. And then how we can find the postdoctoral positions in terms of the searching terms, and there's some potential websites we can look for. And then developing the networks as one of the criteria, especially if you want to work in the academic in the future. So you need to expand your networks, and there is some hints on how to expand your networks. And the last one, but not the least, is how you need to prepare your resume and CV to apply for academic position and postdoctoral positions. Next. Actually, there are more than 4 or 5 types of postdoctoral positions, but I categorize them to 2 types. The reason is because these are the most 2 common types of the postdoctoral positions that you will face. One of them is the university or faculty proposed postdoctoral positions, which is initiated by university at the university level or faculty level. And in this type of positions, we mostly, the positions in Malaysia is 1 to 2 years, but in Australia is most of times is between 2 to 4 years. And that another types that we have is the grant, which is proposed, is initiated by some grants. So in the second type of the positions, they already apply for a grant and successfully achieve the grants. And during the applications, in their budget, they consider hiring 1 or 2 postdoctorate. And so they looking for someone which is have the skills fit completely to the grant. But in the first type of, which is the ones that proposed by universities, is in the most of the case they ask you to prepare the proposal, and the things that you need to look for is to fit your proposal with the strategy of the university. So, but in the second type, most of the time they are not looking for a proposal, they're just looking for your previous experience and skills uh, to to conduct the predefined objectives of the project. So let's look at some sample and they dive into each of these two types. So next, for university, I just level type of postdoctoral positions. I share two sample. One of them is from RMIT University, which in located in Bandura, Victoria, Australia. So they have every year one round of postdoctoral positions, which initiated by university, and they have four levels. One, they call it professorial research fellow, which is equal to professor boy, but the focus in on research. Another is research fellow, senior research fellow, and postdoctoral research fellow. So this type of a scheme are very prestigious scheme and is highly competitive. And when you want to apply, they already highlighted the university strategy, vision, mission, and targets, the goals. So you need to prepare the proposal, and in most of the case you need also find a supervisor by approaching different professors or scholars in the university to sponsor you, and then you need to prepare the proposal and apply for the position. And in another samples that at the moment are so Chancellor Research Fellow by UTS University in Sydney, University of Technology Sydney. So they are, at the moment it's open for applications to apply. And again, in this type of position, you need to prepare your own proposal. You need to draft the proposal. And then apply. And the procedures is in the most of the case, going the applications to the HR of the university, and then they have some filtering, and then they send to the schools, and the schools select some of the proposal and candidate and send back to the deputy of research of the university or research center of the university, and then they are going to shortlist based and comparing between the schools and selecting some of the candidates. And it's not any guarantee that all of the schools receive the postdoctoral candidate, and this is highly competitive because, as you can see, there are several filtering steps. But the good things with this type of position is at the same time they may open between 6 to 20 positions, and but is across different areas in the universities. So next, for this type of position, you need to consider that the university or faculty have their own strategic research priority area. So they prefer to hire the ones that fit with the priority areas of the school or the priority area of the university. For example, some of the university, the priority areas is artificial intelligence at the moment, and some others is sustainability, and may also cover both of that. So your proposal should be in line with the priorities area, and they just look for the ones that fit with the target, with the goals of the university. And usually required to find supervisor. but it's again depends to the university. Some university may leave it to the school at the last step, so it means let the candidate go through the initial screening process, and if selected, then the school will propose the supervisor for the candidate. But in most of the case, they ask you to approach first, because that's also is the sign of your capability to initiate the networking and collaborations. And then the applications are usually required to submit research proposal, resume, selection criteria, and publications. So then, in most of the case, uh, the university in this type type of positions, they are looking to the candidates that have proven ability to publish in high quality journals, and also they give value to the ones that that have experience of writing proposal and so for the grant and so on. So because here the target for university is to provide the opportunity for the candidates who recently received the PhD, because for this type of the position, mostly you can apply till 5 years after your graduations. If you have some interruptions, then you can include the interruptions, for example, because of some particular reasons, 1 or 2 years, if you haven't uh, works, so then you can also include that as interruptions and extend the 5 years. But in most of the case is 5 years after your graduations, 5 years full-time work, actually we can tell. Or if you work as a part-time, so they just counted the part-time part in the calculations, and then in most of the case they have one Excel file, which is you need to go through and enter your interruptions and so on, so that at the end is calculated you are eligible to apply or not. So the purpose is for early career researchers to provide the opportunity to expand their networks, to expand their independent research, because although you have conducted your PhD maybe independently, but you had a supervisor which guided you through the process and so on. But here is you have the chance to work more independently, and the supervisor for postdoctorate is quite different with the supervisor from the doctorate positions, because in the postdoctorate, the supervisor is mostly play the mentor role, not supervising or guiding you through the research. They just mentor you to assist you to expand your networks or be involved in the different type of research and so on. So build up your resume and your capabilities. So this is the goals. So because of that, they prefer to select the ones that already demonstrate that type of capability in terms of research or preparing the proposal. So the time that you apply for this type of the position, when you are thinking about the research proposal, two things is matter. One thing is the proposal should be aligned with your background. So not suddenly propose a new topics, which when we go through your previous research, through your previous publications, there is no sign that you have that capability to do and conduct that particular proposal. So be aligned, the proposal should be aligned with your background. And another thing is should be also aligned to the priority area of the university. So these two things you need to consider. And then you have the supervisor, you need to select the supervisor which also have some experience in terms of your research, your proposal. And in especially Australia and European countries, in most of the case, we have a selection criteria, which you need to write 2 or 3 page and answering to selection criteria, and that is the opportunity for you to to showcase the capability and abilities which you haven't included in the CV, or you want to highlight and demonstrate your capability to and to shows that you are fit to the position. As I mentioned, the proposal should be aligned with the faculty research teams, then research center priorities. So if, because some of the universities like RMIT, they have also some sort of research centers, and you can you can do your postdoctoral in those research centers, so it should be aligned with those. And supervisor expertise, institutional strategic area, and your background. So if I want to sum up, for this type of position, you need to be very strategic. You need to do some homework before applications. It is not going to be just you have some proposal that's sending to all of the university. It won't go. It won't work, and the resume also should be fit properly with the position. So you need to do some homework before applying. The main one is to go through the websites of the university and have a clear understandings of the what is the priority areas of for the university, and also go through the schools page, the school that you want to apply to have, or research center that you want to apply through them, to have a clear understandings what is the research priority of those centers, and then the capabilities that you have and the, your experience that you have, you highlight those in your CV and also in your proposal, and embed in the proposal and try to respond to selection criteria which is aligned to those. Next, we have another type, which is grant-based postdoctoral positions. As I mentioned, in this type of positions, in most of the in I can say in all of the case, uh, the person that advertised the position have already received the grant. So the grant can be industrial type of grant, can be theoretical, which is initiated by government. It can be a mix of those. So because they have the proposal, they have the objectives, and they already have milestones and methodology, everything is clear. So they already, when I apply for the grants, so the methodology of the study is there. So you no need to propose the methodology. The purpose is already defined, is predefined by the professors that apply for the positions, or the research teams that apply for the grants. So they are looking for someone with that skill to do the research independently and conduct the part of the research and proposal, the project during his PhD. So in this type of project, most of the case, the publications, it is not the focus. The focus is doing the project. So, and they are looking for, in your resume, they are looking for some previous experience in those things. For example, if they need someone with a specialty in artificial intelligence, or coding with Python and so on, to analyze, or the ones that in the chemical, they may looking for someone with the experience of going to the lab and doing the characterizations and so on. So they already knows who they look for. And in this type of position, the power is with the chief investigator of the position. So it means, compared to the university steps, which there are several filtering process. You need to go first to HR, so they are looking and comparing with the selection criteria. If you miss some documents, so they filter you, and then they send to the schools, and then the schools go through. And most of the times in the schools, as putting 4 or 5, and sometimes even going to the 10 persons as the selection board. So they are going through the selection criteria and your resume and give rank to each of you, and then they have conduct the meetings to prioritize, and then they select out of, for example, 100, 3 or 4 persons, again sent back to the research center or the deputy was chancellor of research. They do the selection. So in comparison to those, in this type of position, the chief investigator is the only persons that make decision. So it means when the you apply for the position, it's sent to the chief investigator. They arrange a meeting with you to explain the project, and getting and getting understanding or figure out your experiences doing those type of research and so on, and then they will select. So, and here is mostly I recommend to apply early. Don't wait till closing date, because in some of the case they may in few days they find the proper candidate and they move on. But in the university level, that type of grant, they all the times they wait till end the closing date. After the closing date, they will send to the schools and so on. So the process starts after that. But in grant base, it may go to the position share with the persons, and then they go through the selection steps. For grant base, these positions are created, as I mentioned, through the research grants, and the research scope is already predefined, and the applicant mainly demonstrate the suitability for the project. So the applicants apply to join fund the project. So you need to, in your resume, instead of prioritizing your publications and so on, you need to prioritize your skill, your expertise. Your publications capability is there, but the priority should be your expertise and skills. And you need to demonstrate that you are the person that fit with the project. You are one of the best persons that can assist in doing that project. Next. So now you need to have an understanding of how you can search for the positions. Different countries using different terms, and even in the same country, sometimes the schools have different, the universities have different name for the position. Some they call it postdoctoral, some they call it research fellow, research associate, and research fellowship, and so on. So, as I mentioned, sometimes because of the different country and different university have different terms for it, and sometimes the reason is the name change because the for example, the salary scale for research fellow in the university is different from associate research fellow, and when they already define the budget, they need to match the budget with the position. So then they need to, for example, if they have less budget, they need to go for associate research fellow instead of the research fellow. So these are some reasons, but the important things here is you need to be familiar with the terms that you can use, alternative terms, to apply for the positions. So these are some of the terms that mostly be used. And another thing is about the platforms. Times Higher Education is one of the platforms that you can find lots of positions for postdoctorate. Another one is postdoc jobs, and academic positions, and also some of the universities, especially in Malaysia, they are only advertised on their university websites. So you in Australia, uh, I can tell all universities they will share on Times Higher Education, so you won't miss the position if you just check one source. But is also university website. But another things that later I will also highlight, LinkedIn also is there, and many other platforms are there. So I just highlighted some of them, which is mostly used in Australia or Malaysia. But you need, to also consider the LinkedIn and this type of websites, which is especially if you know the persons which is fit well with your background, so you can follow in on the LinkedIn. So if they have the position, they may advertise there. So next, one of the important things if you want to survive and grow in the academic is networks. So, and this is one of the critical point. So, and there is some proven ways that you can expand your networks, and one of the most common one is attending the conference. But in attending the conference, you shouldn't be just thinking that I'm going to present and then I isolated and I'm not going to talk with anyone and so on. No, you need to have a strategy for attending the conference and also know which conference you select. So, for example, if your target is to apply to for Australia, or if your target is UK, you need to see which conference many scholars from Australia attend, or because we have something like in Australia which is very common, and the academicians attend those type of conference every year. So this is provide a chance for you to initiate the collaboration and networks with them. So the key point is when you attend there, you need to already go through the profile of the persons that that attend the conference, especially the keynote speaker and so on, and have the strategy to approach them. If they are the chief editor of the journal, so maybe you have one paper on hand, so you can discuss about your paper with them and get some feedback and so on. So not only introduce your name, which because they in the conference maybe 200 300 people approach them, so this is not the way that you can sustain the relationships. But after the conference, if you meet someone, you can add them on the LinkedIn, which is uh, most of the academics at the moment is active there, especially in the developed countries. But the LinkedIn also is a platform that when you identify the persons in your area and following them in especially the type of grants that initiated based on the grants. So in most of the case, they share the position on their LinkedIn. So this is the place that you can find the positions. But to target the persons, one of the strategies that you may have, please have a clear understanding, because I know when the people graduate from the PhD, in most of the case, they just approach any professors in the universities. So it means they just prepare one email and sending to everyone. So first of all, because that email is not uh, revised based on the background of the persons and so on, is the chance of to be effective is less. And another thing is some of the persons, some of the scholars in the universities have a very good background in terms of getting grant, and these are the persons that suitable to target for uh, postdoctoral positions. So what you can do, for example, you go through the profile of different professors, which is matched with your background area, and look at the grants on their profiles, how many grants they received in the last few years. We have some professors some scholars, which is in the last few years, they never received even single grants, and we have some of them which have more than 20 million grants. So definitely the ones that receive more grants have higher chance to hire you as the postdoctoral candidate. So if I want to, send the email in effective way and also link to the persons in LinkedIn, so I most of the case going through their profile have the reason to link them or target those type of people and see what they have done in the previous years in terms of the grants. So if they have been successful, so it means that they also have the high chance to be successful in the future and looking for new postdoctorate candidate. Then another thing is joint research association and academic communities. In different areas, we have academic communities, and some of them they have Telegram, some of them through WhatsApp, some of them only through email. They share the conference, the positions, and so on. So this is another opportunity for you to get the information. And then is find and initiate collaboration. Uh, so collaboration is especially with the ones that you have target them, initiate collaboration early is a way to grow. So it means that you already work with them, you already proven to them that you have the skills, you already proven that you have a good communication skills and so on. So then definitely the priorities will be you. Academic recommendation is sometimes work, so it means that when you have your professors and so on, they may have some networks across the world, which they look for the candidate or research assistant and so on, then they can recommend you. And contacting before applying is one of the way which if you find a position and you have no networks, no collaborations, nothing with that particular positions. In some of the case, they put the email for asking questions. It's better before officially submit and apply for the position. You try to have some questions, create some questions, and contacting them to just they have some background of your name and so on, so that can assist during the application. So at least they have some they know your name, so that's may answer. But it's, as I mentioned, the priority definitely will be go through your research, how fit and background, but this is another way that you can try to initiate at least some relationship before submitting and applying for the position. Next. So for preparing the CV, you need to consider some important points. First, if you have one CV and sending for all positions, for sure you are not in the right way. So the CV should be aligned for the positions. When you go through the advertisement, they clearly mentions what they look for, what the skills they want, what type of capability they look for, what the criteria in terms of publications and so on. So when you look at the first things before preparing your CV for a position or revising your CV for a position, you need to clearly understand what the criteria is there. And then those criteria means for that university, for that professor, for that school, these are the key points they look for. So there may be lots of irrelevant things in your resume which distract them to your main capabilities. You need to consider one point. The point is When especially the position is at the university level, sometimes one single school receive 100 to 200 applications. So when I'm in the selection committee and they send me 100 article, 100 resume to prioritize them, so I don't have time to go through the entire resume and analyze it and so on. So what we are going to do, we have the rules of 30 seconds. So you have 30-second times to bring your my attentions or selection committee attentions to the capability which fit to the position. So you need to sometimes, maybe if the publication is a priority, maybe you bring the publication in the first 2 3 page. If the priorities is some particular skill, you can have the abstract or skill sections in early or in the first page of your resume and highlighting those. So these are the things that you need to consider and put in time, because submissions for the application, preparing the proposal and so on is taking time. Why not you add 1 day more or 2 days more time to adjust your CV, you adjust everything to the position and to enhance your chance to be selected significantly. I have the experience of to be in the selection board, and there was a candidate which was very strong candidate, but I can clearly see that he didn't match the CV with the criteria, the selection criteria. And we were 4 persons on the board, and another board members, they rank him very low, and the reason was because he didn't prepare. But if he did properly, I was sure that he could be among the first or second persons of our choice. So it's important, and all the times looking from this perspective that the persons may receive 100 resume, and he need to go through all of them. So is definitely may go through each resume 30 seconds or maximum 45 seconds. So I need to, this is my job to demonstrate that I'm fit. So this is the way that I need. So this is the things that you need to consider. And uh, include a strong research profile summary, which is seldom I saw in the resume, but is important. So in first page of resume, you can have a summary, and that summary is giving you the chance that explain all the capabilities or skills that you have, which is fit to the positions. For example, if they're looking for high quality publications, you can mention that I have published, for example, 5 articles in the very top journals and so on, top 30, or you can mention some of the journals. So this is the way that because it's the first part, the people definitely go to read the abstract, and you can summarize everything, the skills that you believe that they should select you. And then focus on research and publications, because maybe you have lots of industry experience or teaching experience, but if I'm looking for the postdoctorate, in most of the case they are looking for the persons which have high research capability. So your focus should be that. You can include your teaching experience, but not as the priority post. Maybe the last sections can be that. And then the publications, the ones that in early stage of your PhDs and not yet graduated, I would tell you, in I can say more than 95%, the quality is more important of quantity of the publications. Instead of having 10 articles published in the non-index journals or very low quality and so on, publish one or two articles, but in very top tier journals, because that's giving me the sign of your knowledge is high, especially when you are the first author of the articles. So when you are the first author and the paper published in the top tier journals, I can trust that you have a high quality and high type of skills, knowledge to achieve to those level of journals. So, but if you publish 10 articles in the very low quality, so I say your hard work, but your knowledge is low, your skill is low. So, but we are looking for someone with high knowledge. A current research profile matters more than unrelated publications. So, and we can see that especially in early career researcher, sometimes they say yes to any research. So any of the friends or any of the collaborators, they want to research in different areas. They are multidisciplinary is fine, but you need to show that the article is relevant to your area. So try to have a focus area so the people at the end knows you on that particular skill. For example, I claim that my skill is technology, so digitalization. So I do the cross-sectional type of study, interdisciplinary, but in all of my research, the technology is there. So, and this is my, the things that I become famous for it, for the persons that when you are talking about technology adoptions, or if you are talking about implementation of the technology in organization and so on, he's the persons that lead the area. So this is the way that you need to think. So because we hear the people say why they mentions that multidisciplinary is needed, but at the end when we publish in another area, they criticize. So we need to have a clear understanding of the meaning of multidisciplinary study, interdisciplinary study. So and expertise, especially data analytics and AI these years is becoming important, regardless of which area you are. So in most of the grants, for example, the country of Australia or Malaysia, both of them, and I believe most of the country at the moment, AI is the priority of the government. So definitely we need to embed these type of things, and you need to develop your skills in doing this type of studies. And then academic impact. This is the major issues that I saw in the resume. The people just mentions that, for example, I was involved in this grant and mention the year of grant and so on, but they never explain their role in the grant, their impact of the things that they have done, and so on. This is the things that can assist us to see your capability fit with the position. So please try for each point have especially the role that you had or the involvement in some project and so on. Explain, because you know that what you did in the project. For example, you may only involve in the analysis, you may involve in the entire, or you may prepare the proposal. So you need to mention what you have done and what is the impact of your job. So what is the impact of the research? If you publish, you can say that what is the contributions of this study. So please try to not focus much on not unrelated jobs. There are things or activities that are not related to that particular positions, because that is value maybe for industry, not for the academic position. We are looking for industry, but for postdoctorate and so on, if is theoretical base that is the most value, or you can, if you want to include, is better to not the way that be your priority should be the ones that is matched. And the last but not least, make the CV well structured and easy to scan. So try to be very easy to see your points. So the last slide and the last points that I want to share is about preparing the CVs with one example. So I just copy one position, selection criteria, and what they look for, and highlighted some parts. For example, it say that developing proposal for individual and collaborative projects. So it means that in this position, they look for someone which is able to develop the proposal. So if you were involved in some project and you did those things in the CV, please, under the project as the research assistant and so on, if you was even, please write down that I did this type of, writing the proposal and so on, or assisting my professors to apply for other grants. So in preparing the projects proposal, I assisted, and for example, some of them were successful. So this is the way that you shows that you already have experience in that. Another things they mentioned to analyze data, interpret findings, and evaluate. So in project, if you was involved in the findings, in analysis, you can elaborate on that, or in the publications you can also mention that, in the research, this is my contributions to this paper. Even if your name is, for example, is the fifth name or fourth name, if you were the persons in the paper that did the analysis, you can highlight that one as well. So to write up research work for publication, national and international conference. So you need to include your national and international conference. You need to show your publications, and especially you need to, if your papers in very high quality, you need to mention the impact factor, or if you apply for social science or management in Australia, you can list the ABDC, check the ABDC list and see your journalist ranked in ABDC list or not, and if yes, which rank. So you need to include those informations to show that your paper and work is high quality, and to identify opportunities and assist in writing bids for research grants. And then about you, relevant areas of business. So you need your background, your PhD should be in these areas, high analytical capability, ability, and then research approach, model techniques, and methods. So this is very important. You need to show that in the skills, in the early stage of your proposal, what analytical skills that you have, what type of models you have used, and so on. So these are the things that you can highlight. So what is my message here? My message is you need to analyze the proposal, the position, and try to fit well. And in these days, generative AI also can assist you. So we have some tools for it, but even you using the ChatGPT or other tools, you can, after you prepare, for example, your resume, you can give the selection criteria of the position to the ChatGPT and asking that to analyze your resume to see that your resume already cover those criteria properly or not, or if there is other suggestions. So this is the things that. So my last message, the things is for especially the early career researchers, that you need to work on quality, and you need to expand your network. You need to enhance, especially these years, your skills in AI and coding, regardless of your area. And the last things, you need to, when you apply for the positions, you work for many years, 10 years, 5 years, and so on, to reach to this step. So when you start to apply for the positions, you need know, shows those skills, those capabilities, those knowledge that you learn through the previous years. And I saw many cases that when we look at the resume, they have very low quality publications, but they claim that during the project I will publish in very top tier journals. So your background not prove it. So I'm looking for what you have done in the past to select, not what you promise. So the things you promise is, should be supported by the your resume. So thank you for having me. And if there is any questions, I will be more than happy to answer. So so if there is no question, because I don't have access to, oh, she joined.
First and foremost, I express our sincere and heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed resource person, Dr. Mohammad Iran Manesh, Professor and Head, the School of Hospitality, Tourism and Event, Faculties of Social Science and Leisure Management, Taylor University, Malaysia, for delivering an exceptional, insightful session on successful postdoctoral journey, identifying the opportunities and developing the network proposals and CVs. Sir, your valuable insight and practical guidance inspiring the academic experience have greatly benefited all the participants. You are the expert on identifying the postdoctoral opportunities, that too grant-based postdoctoral fellowship, building the professional network, writing an effective research proposal, developing the impactful academic CVs have provided immense motivations and clarity to aspiring the researchers and faculty members. I would also like to extend our sincere gratitude to all the eminent resource persons who have contributed to the success of this 1 week international faculty development program throughout their scholarly sessions, valuable knowledge sharing, and inspiring interactions throughout the program. Their contributions have enriched the academic experience of all participants. A heartfelt thanks to the respected management for their constant encouragement, visionaries, leadership, and support in organizing this international academic program successfully. I express a deep sense of gratitude to our head of the department, our respected dean, our VP admin and VP academic for their valuable support and motivating in promoting the academic excellence in faculty development initiative. I would like to place a record our sincere appreciation to all our faculty members, program coordinator, organizing committee members, and the technical support team for their dedicated efforts, meticulous planning, seamless coordinations in conducting this online international faculty development program successfully. A special vote of thanks goes to all the faculty members and participants from the various institutions who enthusiastically participated in the session, made this program interactive, vibrant, and meaningful throughout their active involvement. Finally, I thank each and every individual who directly or indirectly contributed to the grand success of this 1 week international faculty development program. With profound gratitude and best wishes to all, I conclude the vote of thanks. Thank you, one and all.